There's a wave of money hitting right now that most people will completely miss. I'm talking about actual cash opportunities that are disappearing month by month as the financial system restructures itself. And the irony, the people who need this money most are the ones walking past it every single day. Let me show you what's actually happening in the economy right now between inflation adjustments, regulatory changes, and companies desperate for certain types of workers. There are legitimate ways to pull in significant cash that won't exist in this form much longer. Not side hustles that make you $50 a week, real money that changes your immediate situation. The catch is timing. These opportunities have expiration dates baked into them. Some are regulatory loopholes closing at the end of fiscal years. Others are pandemic-era programs winding down. A few are market inefficiencies that disappear once enough people notice them. But right now, today, they're wide open. Most financial advice tells you to think long-term, build wealth slowly, invest for retirement. That's fine if you've got decades and stability. But what about the 63% of Americans who can't cover a $1,000 emergency? What about people who need money this month, not in 30 years? This isn't about get-rich-quick schemes. Those are fantasies sold by people who make money from your desperation. What I'm talking about is strategically exploiting temporary market conditions before they normalize. Big difference. Here's what nobody mentions when they're selling you courses about passive income and financial freedom. The actual economy right now has specific inefficiencies you can extract value from. But these windows close, sometimes slowly, sometimes overnight. Take what's happening with certain types of contract work. Companies got so desperate during the labor shortage that they started offering rates that don't make mathematical sense for their business model. They're paying 40% above market rate for specific skills because they need bodies now, and they're betting they can restructure later. That later is coming. But right now, you can walk into situations making double what that same work paid 18 months ago. Or look at government programs that got massive funding injections but have terrible utilization rates. There's literal money sitting in accounts that agencies are mandated to distribute, but application rates are shockingly low because nobody knows these programs exist. The funding doesn't roll over to next year. It either gets claimed or it disappears back into the general budget. The pattern repeats across multiple sectors. Temporary imbalances create opportunities. Most people miss them because they're either not paying attention or they're too skeptical to believe legitimate opportunities exist. By the time the opportunity becomes common knowledge, it's already degrading. I spent 6 months tracking every one of these I could find, not theories or possibilities, actual verifiable opportunities where people are pulling real money right now. Some require specific skills, some require nothing but time and willingness to do tedious work, but they're all real and they're all temporary. The financial system is constantly adjusting. What works today gets arbitraged away tomorrow. The people who win are the ones who spot the inefficiency, extract value quickly, and move on before the window closes. That's not being predatory. That's understanding how markets actually function. Here's what makes this moment unique. We're in a transitional period where old systems are breaking down and new ones haven't fully formed yet. That transition creates gaps, and gaps create opportunity for people who know where to look. The standard advice about building wealth assumes you're starting from a position of stability. But what if you're not? What if you need money now to create that stability? That's where these temporary opportunities become crucial. They're the bridge between where you are and where traditional wealth-building advice becomes relevant. Most people reading this are in one of two camps. Either you think this sounds too good to be true, or you're already mentally listing reasons why it won't work for you. Both reactions are why most people stay stuck. The opportunities exist whether you believe in them or not. What I'm about to break down isn't complicated. It doesn't require connections or capital or credentials. It requires information, timing, and action. The information is what most people lack. They don't know what's available or where to find it. The timing is what makes this urgent. These aren't permanent fixtures of the economy. And action is what separates people who complain about being broke from people who actually change their situation. So let's start with the opportunities that require zero specialized skills, because those are the ones anyone can start pursuing immediately. The easiest entry point is government overpayment recovery programs. Sounds boring because it is, but boring pays. Every year, federal and state agencies overpay contractors, misallocate funds, or distribute benefits to people who weren't eligible. Someone has to find these errors and recover the money. That someone gets paid a percentage of what they recover. The work is entirely remote. You're basically cross-referencing databases and flagging inconsistencies. Some of these programs pay 15 to 25% of recovered funds. Find a $50,000 error, you get $7,500 to $12,500. The barrier isn't skill. It's knowing these programs exist and being willing to do mind-numbing data work. Next tier up requires slightly more sophistication, but nothing crazy. Companies are hemorrhaging money on unused software licenses. The average mid-sized company has 30 to 40% more software licenses than they actually need. Employees leave, projects end, needs change, but the subscriptions keep running. There are firms that will pay you to audit company software usage and identify waste. You get a cut of the first year's savings. One person I know made $40,000 in 3 months doing this part-time, just cold calling companies and offering free audits. Then there's the grant writing gap. Billions in grant money goes unclaimed every year because nonprofits and small businesses don't have someone who can write coherent grant applications. The writing itself isn't difficult. It's formulaic. There are templates, but organizations would rather leave money on the table than figure it out themselves. Freelance grant writers are charging 10 to 15% of awarded funds. Write a successful $100,000 grant application. You make $10,000 to $15,000. The organizations don't care about the fee because it's money they wouldn't have gotten otherwise. Here's one that sounds sketchy but isn't. Insurance claim optimization for medical providers. Small medical practices lose staggering amounts of money because they don't properly code insurance claims. They submit claims for services rendered, get denied, or underpaid, and just accept it because they don't have staff to fight every rejection. You can learn medical billing codes in a few weeks, then you contact practices and offer to review their rejected claims. You resubmit them with proper coding and documentation. When the claims get paid, you take a percentage. The practices love this because you're getting the money they already earned but couldn't collect. Moving into slightly more specialized territory, there's chaos in the solar installation market right now. Installation demand is triple what it was 2 years ago because of tax incentives and energy cost spikes. But there aren't enough trained installers. Companies are paying obscene referral fees for connecting them with property owners who want solar. We're talking $1,000 to $3,000 per successful installation referral. You don't install anything. You don't sell anything. You just connect people who want solar with companies that install it. Then there's the EV charging station land grab happening in real time. Companies need locations for charging stations. Property owners have parking lots. Connecting the two pays finder fees of $5,000 to $15,000 per location. You're literally just matching parking lot owners with charging companies. The charging company handles everything else. Your job is introduction and basic vetting. Supply chain consulting is absurdly lucrative right now if you can stomach learning one specific industry. Pick any manufacturing sector. Learn their current supply chain pain points. Companies are paying independent consultants $200 to $500 per hour to help them find alternative suppliers or optimize logistics. You don't need an MBA. You need to understand one industry deeply and know how to research supplier options. The pattern across all of these is the same. Temporary market inefficiency creates demand for a service. The demand is real. The pay is real. But it won't last because markets correct themselves. Maybe it's 6 months, maybe it's 2 years. But these aren't careers. They're extraction opportunities. The question isn't whether these work. People are doing them right now and making real money. The question is whether you'll actually pursue any of them or whether you'll find reasons why they won't work for you specifically. Because the opportunities exist. They just don't wait around for people to get comfortable with the idea. Look, I've laid out opportunities that are verifiable and active right now. Not theories, not maybe someday, right now. The people capitalizing on these aren't special, they're not connected, they just moved when they saw the opening instead of sitting around debating whether it was real. You've got maybe 12 to 18 months before most of these normalize or disappear completely. Government programs wind down. Market inefficiencies get arbitraged away. Companies restructure their desperate hiring. The window doesn't stay open forever. What separates people who change their financial situation from people who stay stuck isn't luck or talent. It's recognizing when the system creates temporary advantages and having the guts to act on them before they vanish. The money is there. The opportunities are real. The only question left is whether you're going to do something about it or whether you'll still be complaining about being broke 6 months from now while these windows close one by one. Your call.